Hello, hello. Dr. Steph here. Welcome to the first edition of the D Word Diaries. I am going to share with you about the D word. What is the D word in the first place, and why did you choose that title? So, the question gives away some of the answer. The D word is a memoir coming out September 19th, 2026. It is about divorce as a portal to self-reclamation. It really is the self-discovery and self-reclamation process. Divorce was the catalyst. And for those who have gone through a divorce, have gone through a bad breakup, you know that that can be a catalyst to get you off your ass and into the self transformation, into the looking deep within. Who am I? What do I want to do with this life? Kind of action. So that is what the book is about. Why did I choose that title? Gosh, divorce was never something that I thought I would go through. I'm a Virgo, perfectionist, high achiever, people pleaser. So divorce comes with a lot of shame, disappointing other people, making a mess, going back on your word, all sorts of these things. And so because divorce was this catalyst to self transformation, but was also gave me that feeling of having a scarlet letter, it was impactful to me to choose that. And the D word is just something that God, Spirit, the universe gave to me as I was writing about my story. So let's keep going. The book opens with you receiving a marriage proposal and hating the ring. That is correct. The book opens with me stream of consciousness saying that is the ugliest effing ring I've ever seen, which was the initial thought that I had in my head. Once there were words, even before there were words, there was just complete shock and dread and like, what is that? Why did I lead with that moment? Gosh, for me, that moment was pretty impactful. You know, that I was one that really romanticized the proposal. I was really excited about being proposed to for a long time, a hopeless romantic. And my ex and I had talked about rings. I thought that I was clear about what I liked and wanted, and also like really wanted him to be happy with the process and wanted him to own all of it, and he wanted to design it. So that moment of being proposed to and hating the ring and also not telling him. So this was really on me. I did not speak up at how much I hated it. It was really the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And he loved it and he was really proud of it. So I kind of rationalized that I would force myself into loving it. And you'll read a lot more about that and get to see that inner dialogue that if you were anywhere on the spectrum of people pleasing, to either keep your nervous system regulated through others or to stay safe, then you've done this dance before of stepping outside of what you want in order to please someone else. So I led with that moment just because it was such a contrast to what I always expected and wanted and what actually happened and just how disappointing that was. And it's kind of funny, for me in the moment it was awful, but it's not that uncommon. So it's relatable and it's it's light. It's like not a deep trauma. So it's kind of funny to talk about and laugh about of like, oh, I hated the ring. So I kind of invite the reader into a deep process, but knowing that this is still light and this is still approachable. They don't have to like deep dive into some real deep trauma in order to access some of the transmissions that I am giving through this book. Whew. There is a feeling in this book many empaths will recognize That is when you get a visceral body no, but you say yes anyway. What do you call this? This is a really good question. When you get a visceral no, but say yes anyway, this I would call self betrayal. This I would call a very intact, intuitive feedback loop that is just consciously ignored. And it's not that the intuition is defective in any way, it's just totally like, this is inconvenient. I need to go this way instead. And again, for empaths, this is such a relatable feeling. This is a practiced pattern that is a good thing. It's a good thing to be aware of other people, their desires, their moment to moment comforts and discomforts. Empaths really help people to coordinate and regulate. It's a beautiful thing. And this, my story, is in efforts to share when there's nuance, when that goes too far, and how to love yourself and have boundaries. Self-abandonment is in the title of the book. That could have been what that last question was getting at. Self-abandonment is in the title of the book, but what does it actually look like in everyday life? Is it a dramatic abandoning yourself in this moment of impulsivity, or is it something more subtle? Well, it's a pattern, and a dramatic moment of self-abandonment would be hating the ring, but not speaking up about that in the moment or even months and years after that moment. It is subtle. It's also that daily choice of not speaking up because of the inconvenience, the extra energy, the extra effort that it takes to do something that seems like it's easier in this moment if I just go with what they want to do, because it's going to take me so much energy to explain myself, and then I'm going to feel bad about it, and then I'm going to need permission from them of like, is that okay that I told you what I wanted? And oftentimes we'll end up in relationships with people who really like us as empaths catering to their emotional needs. So, in that way, self abandonment is both subtle and dramatic. There are plenty of moments of dramatic self abandonment. I would even say that I briefly touch on this in the book. One of the one of the practices of self abandonment that I was very guilty of was not speaking up when there was a particular position during sex that really hurt. And I didn't speak up about that because I wanted sex to be more frequent. And so I felt like speaking up about it would make it even less frequent than it already was. And I also felt like, okay, this is like kind of when he finishes. So I just needed, like, I know that it's about to happen. So I'm just going to like kind of brace for 10 seconds, anywhere between 10 and 60 seconds until that moment comes. And I did not have the that feeling or decision or confidence to be like, we need to look at other options because this hurts, you know. So and that I would call that one a dramatic one that is repeated over time, even though it's only 10 seconds, because that's your body. Last question for today: is this book, The D Word, just for people going through divorce? Well, I would say this book is for people who are seeking permission to access that wild woman within them. The expression of it for me was through divorce, but the deeper story is about loving yourself and is about connecting to your intuitive voice and connecting to the wild heart within you and to your desires and to giving permission to yourself to be yourself. I think for those going through a recent breakup or a recent identity change, it can be very cathartic. And then for those who love a good story, love to have a self care night where they are reading with their glass of wine, in their bath, with their candles, this is a really fun time. And it's playful, it's light, it's gossipy, and it still has some very approachable, very nourishing spiritual lessons through story. So, thank you for tuning in to the D Word Diaries. I look forward to sharing more with you. And please submit your questions that you would like answered here. And also check out the book. Plenty of links below for you to see where to find it and how to stay connected. Peace to you.